What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Cookout with your boy, Mr. Davon. It's a trade for yourself. Catch up every day on YouTube, IG, TikTok, all social media platforms. Come and get that knowledge.
Let's go.
And continue to catch me every day on all social media platforms. Mr. Stats Over Feelings. Hey, dropping for that knowledge. Keep you up to date on the NFL. And lastly, we'd like to thank all our new subscribers. Hey, we're slowly growing. We've had a good month of growth. So thank you for everyone who has continued to look at our content, like, subscribe, and share. More content's coming. Everything's going to be new. We're just working to make this a little bit better every day.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Appreciate
you guys. Thank you. So, let's get this show on the road. And as we always start,
all rise.
Jalen Hurts gets paid. Hey.
Give me my money.
I've been waiting to do this segment for the longest. Man, I was so happy when I saw this news come out. I was like, within the first hour or so, I was like, content. I gotta post. I gotta talk about this. Jalen Hurts, man. Now everybody's heard about it, and if you haven't, you've been under the rock. Jalen just got a contract, 5 years. $255 million.
Give me my money.
With let's add this. He got a $23 million signing bonus and $179.3 million guaranteed. Hey man. Round of applause. Your whole team got you paid, man. You deserve it. Hey. He's averaging now $51 million, the highest paid QB in the league over Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is around $50 million. So now he's the highest paid quarterback in the league. Nice to say, hey. And he's the first Eagles player with a no trade clause. Historic. Round of applause. And that's what an agent does. And a solid team backing you. Man, I was just ecstatic. You know, I was talking about this to some random people. It's just like Jalen has moved to another level. Like last season proved that. He got a talented number one wide receiver. Not to say Devontae Smith wasn't talented, but he was just a rookie. But you got a seasoned vet in A.J. Brown who stayed healthy the whole season, which that was my biggest concern with A.J. Brown the whole season. Was he going to stay healthy? Him and Devontae Smith, along with Dallas Goedert, along with Miles Sanders, I'll give him we always shit on Miles Sanders, but he did show up this past season. All of them, along with Jalen's excelling talent, throwing the ball, running the ball. We already knew he could run the ball, but him throwing the ball improved dramatically. Him able to close out games decisively. I mean, he won all his games that he started. 15 games. 15 games that he started this season. He won. The only game he lost was the Super Bowl, unfortunately. But, I like the Eagles' move to, invest in this talent. They showed appreciation for what they've seen of him and his growth. And I believe Jalen is the answer for years to come within the Eagles organization. So, again, thank you, Jalen. Vaughn, you got something to say about this topic?
Man, this deal was major, man. This was a major deal. Jalen, the entire season, if you just look at Jalen Hurts on the sidelines, if you just looked at him on the sidelines, he looked like somebody who was on a mission. When the Eagles were up big, up 28-0, he wasn't celebrating. A lot of his other teammates on the sideline, they were celebrating. He was locked in. Like he was locked in on the prize, and he he became the quarterback that everybody wanted him to be. You know what I mean? I really wish that the brother Marque was here to hear this, because he has been talking all of this stuff about Jalen Hurts the entire season, and now he's the highest paid quarterback ever.
Exactly.
At this point, from a year over year standpoint, the dude is averaging over 50 million. The dude's average yearly salary is more than Patrick Mahomes' average yearly salary. Okay, like
Yes.
the dude just got paid. He got a no trade clause. Like, everything about this deal is just amazing. Everything about this deal is amazing. Like, he's secure. Like he proved his worth. He's gonna go out there, keep winning those ball games. It's just I mean, it's a beautiful situation, man. I love everything about it. You know, I love that Jalen got the deal. I love that his agent facilitated the deal. His agent was the one that helped facilitate the deal. Like, everything about this was perfect, man. Like, this is what you look at Jalen Hurts. You look at his track record. You look at what he's done. Like, he deserves it. Like, if you want to sum it up, like, he deserves it. Like, that sums it all up, to be completely honest with you.
So Jalen Hurts, man, the best deal in the league right now. I mean, nobody else can compare to his deal. I mean, but there has been some rumor and suspicions out here about what Lamar Jackson was actually offered before last season started. And so that's what our next segment is going to talk about. You know, we're going to do a little comparison because Lamar's doing that right now. He wants a Deshaun Watson deal. And whoever Deshaun Watson's agent was got him the best deal ever, because that's not going to be replicated anytime soon. It's just not. I don't know why not Deshaun, but Lamar doesn't give that up. But Jalen versus Lamar's contract. Now, we went over Jalen's contract. Now, there's a little bit of news, you know, and I'm going to try to pop this up, and hopefully it doesn't cause too much craziness. All right. Let's present. If we can get this thing up. There we go. Here we have Ravens offered Lamar Jackson a contract with $200 million guaranteed. Now, have you heard this one, Vaughn?
I haven't. I have not.
Okay, so this is all new. So this is according to the New York Post. You know, during an appearance on Monday, the Pat McAfee NFL Network Ian Rappaport said Baltimore offered Jackson a $250 million total contract with $200 million carried September of 2022, with $133 million guaranteed at signing. Very interesting, right?
I mean, $200 million guaranteed over a 5-year time span. Is that what we're talking about?
They don't say the year span. They don't say the year span, but I would assume probably 5 years.
I mean, guys, I'm like, I'm gonna go back. Guys, I'm gonna go back. Like, this right here is ridiculous. This right here is ridiculous. Like, I'm gonna go back to you, and I'm gonna ask you a question, Chris. I'm gonna ask you a question. If somebody offered you $200 million guaranteed, 200 million guaranteed, the only thing I have to do is show up to the facility to get the money. That's all I gotta do. All I gotta do is just show up to the facility to get the money. would you sign on the dotted line? Or would you say, you know what? Look, you gave me 200 million guaranteed. Man, I need 400 million guaranteed, man. I need 400 million. Like what in the world is going on? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Like this, like I said, guys, look. This is a rumor. We don't know what's going on at all. I mean, come on. Look, if you were offered $200 million guaranteed and you did not accept it, congratulations. You just played yourself. You just played yourself. For what? 200 million guaranteed? I nothing to say.
Like, so the whole speculation that I have about it, and I agree with you, you know, we're in the same boat. Most people are in the same boat. If he was really offered this contract the September of 2022, right before the season started, why this contract? What was he expecting? That's the thing that's gotten me. Like, that's a lot, the highest out guarantee ever. And it's just like, dude, what else do you want? It's like, what else do you want? It's like, what, you want them to like rub your every game? You want the owners to do that shit or something like that? I don't know what the hell like else you can ask for. You get 200 guaranteed. Like, do you want great until your game starts? Like you an emperor of Rome or some shit? What else do you want? Like, I just cannot. It's true. This is why you have an agent, because you sign, you take in, and you put it against press against them, and you rip the fuck out of it, and you get paid. Because like now he's in like a hole because he betted on himself and he got injured, and that's the problem. He got injured, and so now the Ravens had a little bit more negotiating room, being like, "Oh, we can lower the deal." So I don't know, man. That's my thing. I don't know. I hope it's not true. I mean, we've got like another thing, and I'll just let me stop this screen. I'm gonna pop this one up real quick. It's another thing that popped up into these streets because everybody's still wondering, like, what was Lamar thinking? You know. So I'll put this one up real quick, and I'll just pop it up so everybody can see. So right here, it has the side by side comparison of Jalen Hurts deal with the Eagles. This is Sarah Ellison, you know, and this is what they say: the total value, and this was the projected, like we just talked about. Jalen Hurts, 255 million. Lamar Jackson, 250 million. What's 5 million? All right, and this was before the season started. Fully guaranteed at signing. Jalen 110 million. Lamar 133 million. That's at signing. As soon as he presses his pen against that paper, he's got $133 million in his bank account, direct deposit. Hey, he's just like this.
Give me my money.
Right? Now, you look at total guaranteed, 200 million for Lamar Jackson versus Jalen's 179.3 million.
Oh boy.
You failed, you big dummy.
Like, I cannot ration with a man that's irrational. Like, this is why you have an agent, because the agent takes the feelings out of everything, because it ain't his money, technically. He's looking for your best interest so he can get paid.
But let me ask you this question, and this is what I have to ask you, because at the end of the day, what we're talking about here is about the mindset, right?
Yes.
The mindset. Yes. What could possibly be the mindset behind this particular situation? What could possibly be the mindset behind why you would not take a $250 million deal? We know bro, it was a 5-year deal, bro.
Yeah,
It was a 5-year deal.
It had to be.
Okay.
It had to be.
It was a 5-year deal. So why wouldn't you do that? Is really what I'm trying to understand. Why wouldn't you?
Well, I mean, we can speak about it in an investment space. It's like, why don't people get out of investments before they tumble? If greed, it has to be greed. Because that's the only thing I can really think of. Because from a standpoint of money making, when you have guaranteed money on the table and you deal in such a rigorous and violent sport as football, you don't know when your body's going to give out. And you've gotten all the way to this point, and for you to continue to gamble on yourself, if you had a contract like this, and this is coming from multiple sources now, because when Ian Rappaport and now Sarah Ellison, 2 different sources saying the same about thing. Greed is the only thing I can think of. Or you wanted to stick it to the Ravens. I don't know, like, what else could you want? I mean, what else did you want? I mean, I can't think of anything else. I mean, but I'm not in Lamar's shoes. I just think from my standpoint, if I was playing the game, you get injuries, very violent sport. You play like a running back. To have the guaranteed money, it's an insurance policy, right? So even if you do get hurt, you get paid. Every player would love to have that. If they got hurt, they got paid. But very few people get the guaranteed contract because very few people are still superstars. And the thing about it is, he missed out on a quality deal, and the Ravens have all the bargaining power now because they're like, "Look, dude, you got hurt. Why should we give you a long-term deal now when we don't know your body can handle it?" Now, he should have went back and got that 3-year. I think what had happened was after he got hurt, he thought he was gonna get that same deal this postseason, and he didn't get that same deal. That's why he's been like, "Nah, I want that deal I had back in September." Hey, hey, money ain't the same, man. It's not. Hey, it's not yesterday's prices.
But that's the thing though. Like if you had that greed, like if you have greed, okay, if before the first game of the season you knew that if you signed your name on the dotted line you were getting 133, over the life of the contract you may be guaranteed over 200, you got 5 years 250. It's like, barring another MVP trophy and possibly a Super Bowl championship, how much more money are you going to get? How much, like, barring an MVP trophy or a conference championship, Super Bowl, how much more are you going to be able to get? This is what I'm trying to understand.
I can't answer that question. I tried to make sense out of this from Lamar's side. Like, I just don't know what else it could be. And I'm not in Lamar's head.
Were you expecting $300 million over 5 years and $250 million guaranteed? Like, I don't understand. Like what are you asking for? Like, I don't understand. I really do not understand. I really don't.
It's a very interesting point. Like I said, I can't really bring any kind of logic to this because I don't know, man. I'm trying Lamar, man. I'm trying Lamar, but it's like a deal like that comes once in a lifetime. I mean, you might have missed that once in a lifetime deal by not having right representation. You didn't have the correct representation to talk to you. You need that counsel. That's why people have agents, because you need counsel to be like, "Hey, bro, I've seen this deal never come across the table. Take it. Like, think about it. I can paint the picture. Like, your vast generational wealth going way beyond you. It's like, this deal could set you apart from everybody. Yes, it's not the 10-year deal like Pat Mahomes got. You ain't won no Super Bowls. You won one MVP, which is great. I'll give you a round of applause for that. But your organization hasn't invested in you and doesn't have enough talent for you to actually get to a Super Bowl. So, do you want the money, or did you want to go to another team? Well, like maybe he wanted to go to another team. Maybe that was his play. Maybe he thought he was worth enough to another team. But you see how many teams was like, we're not giving up 2 first-round draft picks for your ass, and then having to pay you. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So Lamar hasn't showed at the training camp, obviously, but you know, I think him turning down that 3-year deal, that might have been the last straw, because the Ravens might just be like, hey, we're just gonna go with what's your boy, Huntley. We might just go with Huntley for a season and just thug it out. Which I wouldn't think so, because they spent so much money on Odell.
Yeah.
Which was a dumb move. But y'all paid him anyway. So I don't know, man. The Ravens organization is a mystery right now. Lamar is a mystery right now. I'm just gonna leave it at that. And I hope he finds what he's looking for, because it shows ain't, common sense. Because I guess common sense ain't coming. But
Yeah.
let's move on to our next topic. Let's stop talking about Lamar. Lamar is always be a topic until he signs wherever he goes. Let's talk some NFL draft strategies. And I'll be honest, I've been starting to get them some. I want move with the content going forward regarding draft strategies. Yep, since that's one of our biggest things, we want you guys to succeed in the draft. When you have your fantasy drafts, we wanted to say stick it to your face, to your friends that you're drafting with. We want you to be able to be like, hey, I'm the man. I got this dope ass squad, and it was based off of this, these draft strategies. So right now, I'm kind of like developing my own particular draft strategies, and I'll kind of incorporate it as we go along with this one from website, the Fantasy Football Counselor. He had a pretty good one, and I liked his content. So I was like, hey, why not just look at this and we kind of review it a little bit and see if we kind of agree on some of the points he comes up with. So let me get ready to share. All right. So here's his main topics for his draft strategies. 1, load up on running backs. 2, know the league rules. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, come on. But a lot of people don't know their league rules, and then they get in trouble later on in the season. All right. You got 3, know the ADP, which is average draft positions of players during the draft. 4, wait on tight ends. I think we've kind of reiterated this throughout our whole talks in the last few shows. 5, anchor your team with an ace QB. Very crucial. Then you got this one, balance your roster. Always back yourself up with depth. Be picking, use C.U.D.Y, which I'll break down what C.U.D.Y is because he talks about it in this when drafting. Next, we go with wait on the kickers and defense. That's pretty standard. And then stray away from the consensus rankings. All right, so these are all good points, and one of the things I kind of like to go through is just go through a dive down. We're gonna start with the loading up on running backs. So, I mean, his pro tip is basically saying a solid tip on drafting that solid running back. You want to ensure that the running back has shown that he can handle full workload and has seen him do it before. So you're looking for workhorse running backs that could get up to 70% of the workload. So we see that with the Giants. We see it at teams with Dameon Pierce when he was in Houston. You saw that with Breece Hall when he finally took over the job with the Jets. I mean, those are the kind of workhorse running backs you're going for. And then later on in later rounds, trying to secure some rookies with some major upside. So if you see, Bijan Robinson, he's being drafted pretty high, honestly, right now in the early stages of running back rankings. But I would kind of shy away from Bijan personally, any kind of rookie. Maybe if you get it on the back end, kind of like last season when you had what's the Seattle Seahawks running back?
Kenneth Walker the third.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker the third. He had a lot of high upside, mostly because you had Rashad Penny who always gets hurt. So he had an excellent position, basically that Rashad Penny would basically get hurt at some point, and he would take over the position because there was nobody else, willing to step up to that next ranking beyond him. And that's kind of what I predicted last season. Didn't take my own advice, but Vaughn did, and it worked out for him. So, and it worked out for a lot of other people. So what do you think about this first tip?
I mean, look, I'm gonna tell you guys, my running back stable was not good at all. I needed way more running backs this past season. So I 100% understand like what he's saying. Running backs 100%. A lot of the wide receivers I had folded. I'm not gonna lie to you, they folded like cheap tents. And so I need I'm going to be focusing definitely on running backs, securing me solid running backs, deep on the running back position. Yeah, definitely gonna be deep on the running back position.
Okay, so I mean we've kind of go through a list of some running backs. So we're gonna be playing PPR, and so in PPR, I always suggest that you pick a good pass catching running back. Those include like Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Hopefully, he's still playing for the Los Angeles Chargers. Or another good one that we don't mention. Those are the top two I always go with. But
yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm going through the list in my head. It's like maybe Joe Mixon. He's becoming a little bit more of a pass catcher. But
yeah,
Joe Mixon. I mean, that's if he plays. He's in some legal trouble. Alvin Kamara is another good one, but he's also in some legal troubles, and we don't know what his outcome may be. So those are four like solid, pass catching running backs in the past few years that you go for. I would say prioritize them more in PPR, those pass catchers. But if you're just doing like a standard league, you can go with like a Saquon or a bruising back who's going to get the fair share of the targets. I mean, like, would Tony Pollard be a bruiser now? Since they got rid of Ezekiel Elliott.
I personally don't think so.
Ooh,
I personally
okay.
don't think so.
I take. Well, Derrick Henry is of course one, but I'm like, when's the wheels gonna fall off? That's the when. Like, is this the season the wheels fall off? Because he's been in the league for a while, close to a decade almost. And I'm kind of getting very. I mean, he keeps going, but shoot, how much does he got left? Because he's basically the whole team right now for the Titans. I mean, it's not a lot of hope there. But we shall see. We shall see. Oh, another good pass catching running back that kind of failed me this season, Najee Harris. Forgot about him. Oh,
Yeah.
Najee. Yeah, he's another good one. So big things to take out from this. Look for workhorse running back who gets at least 70% of the workload. And just make sure that you pick a solid one, and then also look for running backs with high draft upside. Maybe second year players who come around. Like, one person I'm gonna look out for is Rachaad White, but I'm kind of a little bit worried about him because picking a starting running back on a sorry team can play to your detriment too. So
yeah.
all right, this is kind of self-explanatory. The next one, know your league rules. So, knowing your league rules, obviously, because you need to know how your points are scored for each player, especially your QBs. Roster positions. Is it an auction or snake draft? Which I'm still trying to convince you guys to making this an auction draft that we're gonna do for the fantasy cookout, because auction drafts are the best. Everybody gets a chance to pick the player that they want. They just got to bid on them, and are they willing to put the money up? And there's totally different strategies if it's your first time, dealing with drafts. I mean, hopefully you're going to be in a league with at least 10 people in it, because it's not any fun if you just have a 8-team league, because you're just going to have a whole bunch of superstars on your team with an
Mhm.
awesome bench. It doesn't even get fun. Really, the sweet spot for me, and you may agree or disagree, is 12 people. 12 solid people who are actually invested in the league, because that's when things get very critical, especially with the draft. Because those players that you pick could make or break you, literally make or break your season. And it's hard to come back
Mhm.
because there's so little left in the waiver wire, which drafts aren't won. I mean, leagues aren't won by the draft solely. The waiver wire is where you can find your bread and butter. And that's where my name through the wire, and I'll stick to that as my league name. That's why I get it. All right. Here's a little thing called average draft positions, ADPs. Now, average draft position is basically what are people basing in a mock draft? What are people averaging that player's, ranking? So are they drafting them in the first round as the third pick, or second round as the first pick, so forth and so forth. So is it really, like they say, I can relate to drafting in fantasy football to chess. You must make a move and draft a player before someone else does. And so that's snake draft. That's why I like a little bit more auction draft, because everybody gets a chance depending on if you want the player bad enough. But the best way to prepare and know your average draft position is just to do a bunch of mock drafts. And so before the season starts, maybe like a couple weeks before, when everything's kind of like died down with all the trade rumors, is people going to play? Lamar might be still sitting on the couch at home, still, shedding tears about that deal he turned down back in September 2022. Whatever, I don't give a damn. All that is settled. You can finally figure out, okay, what player is going to be drafted when, based off of this, and you get a feel about it. So I know I'm talking a lot, but interject when you feel like it. I love the draft. Like, this is like my favorite part of the league. It's like figuring out strategy of the draft. And I've kind of given away. I haven't given away a lot of my secrets yet, but I will be in more content coming. But
Mhm.
go ahead. How do you prepare for draft, man? How do you figure out what's the best average draft position?
I mean, like you said, man, it's just one of those things to where you just gotta feel it out. Like you really truly gotta know who you're trying to get. You have to know your strategy. You have to know, am I going more wide receivers? Am I going more running backs? Like that's going to be very, very important. And just like the first two bullet points that they had make up a make up a big portion of this. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you got to know it. You got to know it. You got to have that mock draft, man. You got to have that mock draft. See what's going on, because Yahoo may give you a guy way too high, and he shouldn't even be that high. So you got to take advantage of that mock draft. You have to.
Exactly. And like I said, the best way to do it, like I said, maybe a couple weeks before, when injuries are played out, the player is going to play. Like, Brees Hall is going to start game one, season one, and he's been on the field practicing with everybody. Just start doing about. I say at least do 10, just to get an idea. Maybe I would do at least 20 personally. I kind of just like make notes. It's like, okay, this is so around like round 4 is when Mahomes is getting drafted. That might be a lie. He might be drafting around 3 at this point. Jalen Hurts getting drafted in round 4. You get your, get an idea where QBs are getting drafted, get an idea where, running backs are getting drafted and wide receivers are getting drafted. And like I said, if you're playing standard, I promise you the bruising running back's going to get drafted first. If you're playing PPR, that's when it gets a little bit different because it's points per reception. So those pass catching running backs and great wide receivers like Jordan Jefferson. God, I forgot his name already for the Bengals.
You talking about you talking about receivers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you said, Justin Jefferson, Jamar
Hey,
Chase.
there we go.
I mean, T. Higgins is good from time to time. You got some, like I said,
Stephon
man.
Diggs, the Stephon Diggs of the world.
Yeah,
Those are the guys that are like first round draft material right there, especially in PPR league. So
yeah.
it's all
Devontae
about
Adams, man.
oh,
Devontae Adams.
whew, that's the one you gotta look out for. That man was a beast last season, and that was with Derek Carr of all people. All right,
Yeah.
this is kind of self-explanatory. Wait on a tight end unless it's Travis Kelce. If I need to say anything more than this,
Look, do not look, y'all. I am not
hold
y'all.
on, bring it back to big screen so you can get the seriousness of this message Vaughn's about to preach to you.
Look, man, y'all think I'm playing. Okay, y'all think I am playing. I am seriously debating on not drafting a tight end at all. I'm serious. Look, guys, look. When I say that I am willing to stream the position all season, I will do it. I am not look, guys. This is the thing. Travis Kelce, okay? Travis Kelce, yes, he's the one that you can depend on. But what are you gonna have to give up to get him? What running back are you gonna have to give up? What wide receiver are you gonna have to give up to get him? That's number one. Okay. That's the thing. Number one. Number two, I drafted Mark Andrews. But guess what? Mark Andrews did very, very well at the beginning of the season. But guess what? He got hurt. Yep. He got hurt. He couldn't make it through the season. Okay. That's an issue. Okay. Who's next? Dallas Goedert. Guess what? He got hurt. He couldn't make it through the entire season. Okay? He couldn't make it through the season. Okay, so who's next? Guess who I had? I had the tight end from the Chargers. I had Gerald Everett. I had Gerald Everett, right? Gerald Everett did pretty well for a couple of games. But guess what happened, guys? He got hurt. He could not make he started regressing, guys, and he couldn't make it through the season. So what does that tell me, y'all? What does that tell me?
Let's keep on going down the list. Evan Ingram. He didn't show up to the very end of the season.
Exactly.
He was quiet for most of the season. And you get this.
So your season could have been gone. Yep. Your season could have been wrapped up because you're waiting on you're waiting on Ingram to come through. And guess what happened, guys? Guess what could have happened? You could have scooped right up and grabbed Ingram in the waiver wire later on in the season. He was still in the waiver wire later on in the season, so he could have been a gem for you. Plugged him in right. Guys, there's only one tight end, guys, that you should be drafting. The problem is, who are you going to have to give up to get him? And that is not worth it because guess what, guys? Travis Kelce is getting older too. Yep. He's getting older as well. So we know that it's going to get to a point to where he's going to miss about 3 to 4 games in the season. And it's going to be 3 to 4 games that you're going to need badly. I promise you.
And it's only so much you can take knee shots from because everybody's like, he's too big. This motherfucker's too big. We just gonna hit him in the knees.
Yeah.
Hey, he got 34? I think he's going 34 years old. Them knees can't handle like they used to. AGE is undefeated. So
look. Guys, this is what I'm telling you guys, and I am not playing with you. I am not playing with you. I am not. Look. A tight end is not even on my radar, guys. Not even on the radar. I need quality running backs. I need wide receivers that I can depend on. Okay, that's what I need.
Hey, Von needs some dogs.
Yes,
He
exactly.
needs some dogs in this team.
I need some dogs that are ready to tap in. Okay, that are ready to tap in and handle their business. You hear me?
And it's very few of those tight ends. So I believe in Von's statement. Look, I am not going to be looking for a tight end that early. If Travis Kelce should fall into my lap, maybe, but I doubt it. I bet Travis Kelce is drafted within the first round. Late first round, early second round. That's what I feel like his position is going to be for people who are just still on the high. They won a Super Bowl. He had those monster games. I mean, one game he had all the touchdowns in one game, all the fucking touchdowns. I mean, applause to that. Like, goddamn, like, how much can you expect out of him more? He's getting old. I mean, I think the Chiefs actually got a tight end. So
Yeah. I'm actually
I
not
believe
sure
so.
about that.
I believe
don't
so. They
know.
got a backup tight end. So
Okay.
I think they're kind of anticipating, like, man, this man's got miles on him. I mean, shit. There's only so much you can do. All right. Next, rule number 5. I feel like I'm in the 10 Crack Commandments by Biggie right now.
Yeah.
But number 5, anchor your team with an ace QB. Hey. Now I've seen this work both ways. All right. So sometimes you can get lucky with a QB like Justin Fields, who was garbage the first like 6 games of the season, and then he just went nuclear, and then he got hurt, just like all of them. Because you can't depend on just a running QB to make your league. He can win you some games, but he can't win you your league. Listen to that. A running QB can't win you your league, Mr. Josh Allen. You can't win your league because Josh Allen fell off a cliff once he got hurt because he ran too goddamn much. All right. But I like this rule. Always make sure you have a solid QB that puts points up every fucking week that you can just plug and don't have to worry about him until his bye week. That is the perfect strategy, especially for one QB league. On average, I would draft a QB that's like top 5. Like you're talking about the Patrick Mahomes, you're talking about the Josh Allens, the Jalen Hurts, your Joe Burrow, and who would be another good 5? Who's a good 5?
Yeah, you named some good guys.
I mean,
5.
Tua could be it, but I'm worried about his health. And then you got
Yeah.
Geno. We don't know if it was just a fluke season. He just showed out.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I think. I mean, you got 4, man. You
Okay,
got 4.
we'll stick
You
with
got
that
4.
that tier 1, that tier 1 QB group right there.
Yeah.
Those are going to get drafted around the 4th or 5th round, maybe 3rd round if people are feeling a little frisky. But about the 4th or 5th is about the average. I should expect those to come off the board. So I would say invest in a QB. It was very nice having a QB just to sit and coast with. Like, I got made fun of by my own crew members. I'm calling y'all out for drafting Pat Mahomes so early. But Pat Mahomes was nice because that man would run with one leg down the field. And he literally did that in the last 2 games before of the season, before he won a Super Bowl. He had one fucking leg and still won. Hey, applause to Pat Mahomes and all his great things. Jalen Hurts was a sleeper. Jalen Hurts, we were going by his previous performance. I heard rumors. Jalen Hurts was a nice quarterback just to sit and forget until he got hurt. But until then, he was a nice set and forget guy who got solid quality points every game. So always having a QB. Now, he says, having a backup QB is good. I am on the fence about that personally. I don't go with a backup QB most of the time, mostly because I'm all in, and that backup QB could take a position of a solid sleeper that I want to, let sit for a while and let it marinate until midseason and see how they turn out. That's just me though. Vaughn, what you think?
I mean, the backup quarterback, I believe, is I believe it's your personal preference.
Yeah.
It's your personal preference. Do you want to have that backup that you know you're gonna plug in when your starter is out? Do you want that security of having that backup? That's one thing. Or again, do you want to load up on the position groups? Do you want to load up on the position groups to make sure that you are good? To make sure that you are good, so you have people that you can plug in later on in the season. Like you said, there really might be a sleeper that might give you a pretty good opportunity to be successful. So, yeah, man, the way I'm looking at it this year, I'm looking at it from the standpoint to where I'm not really worried about a backup QB. Not really worried about a backup QB. And I'm really, like I said, guys, I have to have the running back position solid. It has to be locked up. Okay. I have to have wide receivers that I can depend on. And if a backup, if a backup quarterback and a tight end, and if a backup quarterback and a starting tight end have to be mortgaged for that, I'm cool. I don't need them. I need running backs, wide receivers. I will pick up the tight ends and the backup quarterback when I need them.
Hey, this man said he needs all dogs. He needs all the dogs he can get. All the dog running backs and wide receivers he can get.
Yes.
All right. Fair. All right. Let's move down this list. Let's continue on. Balance your roster and have tons of depth. And this is what Vine was just saying. You want to get balance to your roster. Now, to me, it depends on what kind of league you're going in. Running backs, especially good ones who get solid, attempts and workload are hard to find. So loading up on them is kind of key. But in a PPR league, also you want to have a good balance of especially wide receivers who get a lot of pass attempts, who get a lot of looks, who has a majority of the targets. You want those dogs. And it's really hard in some teams because it's so split. Like, let's bring the Bengals up for a second. Like the Bengals, yeah, Jamar Chase is gonna get his. Then you got T. Higgins, and then you got this other guy that I never will draft or put on my team again. And I'm not gonna even say his name because he ain't worth my time. But you have 3 receivers, and you have to balance that out because sometimes the backup could be doing very well compared to the starter. Because Higgins, he had his games. Chase had his games. They both had their games hit sometimes. But it's all about that target share. You want to find those wide receivers who are going to get a bulk of the target share. Like Devontae Adams. Everybody knew that they're going to throw it to that. Everybody knew. He was like, it's going to him, but he's still going to catch the ball. And he had a high output because of that. Now, this year with Jimmy G, we're going to see what's going to happen. Because, we'll see what happens over there in Raider Land with Jimmy G. But that is the big thing. You go with Chris Olave. Chris Olave is going to get the targets. So he's a solid wide receiver to get. I mean, down with the Cowgirls,
C.D. Lamb is going.
Yeah,
C.D. Lamb is going to give you what you need.
Yeah, C.D. Lamb's going to give you what you need in Cowgirl land. A perfect team that you don't know yet is for the Jaguars because now Calvin Ridley's being added to the mix. So you got to figure out who's going to be that top alpha dog who's going to get the target because Christian Kirk ain't going to lay down. And you saw Zay Jones explode towards the end of the season. So, and then Evan Ingram, he gonna want his targets because he
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I proved that I can handle my workload too." So that's gonna be a hard one to come up with. So balance is power. Make sure you just have a good, solid, running back core, wide receiver core, and one good, solid quarterback. I mean, you just need one good, solid quarterback, and then if you happen to get hurt, then maybe you can use your solid running backs and wide receivers as straight bait to try to get a good backup.
Yeah.
That's my strategy. It's like if I run into that issue and I can't find somebody decent on the waiver wire until my player gets my QB gets back to health, I'm going for trading. Now, speaking of trading is a part of having a backup plan, and then you need to have another backup plan. I consider when you're drafting, you don't need to be caught off guard because you're not going to have that much time to react. Most drafts, you have less than 60 seconds to pick your pick. Or if you're doing, auction drafts a little bit different or salary cap, whatever they want to call it. But if you're doing a snake draft, more likely you only have 60 seconds. And if you're not prepared and you don't have like a list of players that you're interested in tiers, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, you're going to get discombobulated. It's happened to me before, and I picked up trash because I wasn't prepared. In the early years I was doing this, I picked up a lot of trash. And now I have to go through the waiver and try to fix it and make it through the league, do the struggle. But yeah, you need to make sure that you kind of have a made for list that you've kind of put together when you're doing your mock drafts of your tiers that you believe in based off of performance of previous season, their dependencies, everything else. Got anything to add on this one, Vaughn?
I mean, you are 100% right, but that's also like, going through your research, going back through those multiple mock drafts and things of that nature. That's what's going to help you out. That's what's going to really truly help you out. And so you got to be able to do that. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to listen to trusted resources like the Fantasy Cookout that's going to help tell you about which particular players so you can know which ones to go into. Like there's all these things that you have to make sure that you do to make sure that that plan is foolproof. Like the plan, the backup plan, the backup plan.
Yep. You need
The
a plan A, plan B,
like
plan
the
C.
look, you need Chat GPT as another backup plan to plug in another. You need everything. You need everything on your side, okay, to be able to do this thing.
Yeah,
You have
especially
to.
when you're dealing with some killers in your league. Because if you playing a real fantasy football league with some killers, those killers, they didn't bought every goddamn program, book, whatever else, then search, then went crazy, spent hours doing research, going through number crunching, figuring out what the hell happened last season, why they were this way, what percentage. They done all of that. And that's what I'm doing. I'm that kind of crazy. But that's because I love fantasy football, and it's one of the things that just doing your analysis is the fun part. Doing analysis behind everything, and it's just the unpredictable part of it is like when a player gets hurt, like what the fuck am I going to do now? I've had that happen too many times. And knowing your history, this can go on all fronts. Knowing your history about any player and about teams and about coaches and about everything can change your whole perception and the game itself. All right. We're going to keep on going real quick. Be really picky and use your C.U.D.Y system. Now, the C.U.D.Y system, this is the first time I heard of it, but I think we all kind of go through it. C.U.D.Y. C.U.D.Y stands for consistency, upside, durability. What was that, homie? Hey, I'll give you this. Oh, Lord, man. One and only, Mr. Vaughn. Just trade for yourself over here. But you need your C.U.D.Y, man. Hey, consistency, upside, durability, depth, and youth. All good, valid points. And then this, he talks about having at least picking players with 3 of the 5. So We talked about like Derrick Henry. He definitely ain't got the youth anymore. Durability, it's giving out. He's been able to last a couple seasons. Upside is pretty high, and consistency is pretty high. He's been able to play most of the seasons that he's been, pretty dynamic running back. But these are all different points that I'm going to actually implement into my system. I didn't have a distinct name behind it, but I like this, so I'm gonna recycle it for my own uses. What do you think about it, man?
Man, I definitely think that all of this is good. Like, his acronyms, the things that you need to look out for is very, very important. The one thing that I will say is that C.U.D.Y can be used in many areas of your life. Many areas of your life, many things you guys can use C.U.D.Y.
What else do you use Cuddy for? Fine. Why don't you educate? Why don't you educate
Look,
us?
look. For the people who have watched
Hold
the
on, hold on,
movie,
hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me bring you up the full
look,
screen.
look, guys, look. For the people who have watched ATL, okay, for the people who have watched ATL, okay, the movie ATL, C.U.D.Y, come on, man. Yes, I'm telling you, man. Like that's that's really all I can think about. All I can think about is ATL, man. That's all I can think about. That's all I can think about.
Hey, all stands for life, man. Hey, now that I have a word, an acronym to use for this, I'll apply it more to my life. Thank you, Mr. Fantasy Counselor. You gave me some knowledge that I can use for later generations. So, Cuddy, a lot of younger quarterbacks, a lot of younger running backs, especially the running backs. Kenneth Walker is one of those Cuddy players. Is like, he was consistent. He was young. He was durable. He had upside. He pretty much reached, almost all the criteria of Cuddy. So it's like when you're analyzing each player that you're interested in, ask yourself, do they meet your Cuddy qualifications? And if they don't, then cut them.
Yeah, yeah.
Cut that Cuddy. Cut that Cuddy. If they don't meet your call, cut them.
Got
All
to.
right.
You have to.
All right. This is kind of, understandable. Don't overpay for defenses and kickers. That should be your last two things that you pick. I mean, defenses, honestly, you can kind of stream them. You get a feel out of which defense is going to be solid, which defense are going to be good, unless they're like consensus is like they're the best defense in slice bread. Like even the Eagles and the Cowboys last year were the two of the top defenses, but they had their down games. So yeah, you gotta. Besides, like maybe the top two, but I'm still not gonna draft them until like the later rounds, the last two rounds, especially with kickers. Kickers are a dime a dozen. You just need somebody who can consistently make their point afters and kick, more than 30 or 40 yarder. So,
Yeah.
got anything to add to that?
I agree, man. Look, kickers. Look, guys, look, kickers. Okay, look, kickers. Kickers are like buses, guys. Kickers are like buses. If you miss one, you're gonna catch one in the next 15 minutes, guys. Do not worry about a kicker. Guys, all of these guys can kick. They can all kick.
They're in the league
All
for a
of
reason.
them.
They're in the league for a reason.
Yes, like even look, even your best kicker that you want to draft, quote unquote. What if in the first game he only gives you 3 points?
Yeah.
What, like, why'd you draft him so early? For what?
Fair.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the last one, and I like this last one because it's like the 10 crack commandments, it's perfect 10, perfect 10 rules, man. And I'm gonna go through and kind of break down the rules a little bit more, but I love this one right here. Stray away from consensus rankings. Be a lion, not a sheep. Hey, that's a solid one for me. Be a lion, not a sheep. Don't focus on all the noise that you hear, because you're gonna see like so many different quote unquote experts. You need this in your life. You need that. You need that heart of the lion right there. You need that roar. You need that in your system. You need that in your system, man.
Oh man,
Wait,
that's a fact.
Do your own research. Do your own damn research. If you want to win, people don't win going off consensus rankings. I've tried to go off consensus rankings. I've been guilty of it. And I've been like, damn, maybe I should go with this player because they get ranked higher in all these rankings. What turns out, I get fucked. And that player that I didn't play that I thought was going to do good ends up going off on my bench. It's happened to be 9 times. It has to be more times out of 10. You got to trust your gut instinct. If you've done the research, if you know the type of player, I mean, you can't predict injuries and you can't predict, certain things like what the coaching staff's going to do in that particular game or what the style of play they're going to do. But you can go off the history. You can go off your research. If you've done the research, trust it, go with your gut feeling, and just let it roar. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Fine. Go.
Yeah, man. You can't, guys. Yahoo will have a guy ranked 22nd, knowing that guy should be going 66th. It's crazy, y'all. Like if you look, guys, look. I know from experience, okay, because I drafted a guy named Michael Carter, okay. Ooh. And he was this guy had consensus ranking. He was decent consensus ranking, but guess what? Straight trash. Guys, forget those rankings.
Yep.
Start looking at these players. What are they capable of doing? Who's actually going to play better? Look, guys, this is the thing. NFL draft is coming up. A lot of these rookies are probably going to be going to be ranked pretty high. Don't be drafting these rookies just because. Understand who you're drafting.
Look at their college. Look at tape. Look at tape. See how they play. See what teams they're getting involved in. See what kind of effect they're going to have instantly when they get on those teams. Some of these people are not going to be starting. Some of these people have a injury track. If they are prone to get injured, you probably shouldn't depend on them too much unless they could show a consistent work ethic. You need somebody with consistency. That's part of the C.U.D.Y system. Consistency. Find consistent players, because if you don't have consistent players, you're going to have a lot of headaches when it comes to Sundays and shit happening. And then you're just going to be like, damn, I got to go try to bargain with somebody to try to find me a replacement running RB1 because I just lost my RB1. Or I got to go try to find something in the waiver wire, dig through the trash bin, and try to find a diamond in the rough. So biggest thing you need to do, guys, is do your research. Listen to different podcasts like the Fantasy Cookout. We're all here. We're going to be giving you good content, and we're always trying to make things better and easier for you guys. Like I said, last season was the first time we did this, and a lot of the players that we kind of suggested in our waiver wire pickups, that's my bread and butter. I love the draft, but I love the waiver wire because that's where I kind of dig through the trash and find those gems that everybody's throwing away. And so I try to find you players that aren't highly owned, because somebody might have like the random team that drops like a high ranking player because they get mad and get in their emotions, which you need to watch out for too. People get in their emotions and make stupid decisions and make stupid drops. But I try to find you players that are less than 50% owned, because you have a higher chance of getting them and add them to your team. So that's what the benefit of the Fantasy Cookout is, and we're going to keep bringing up that content because I enjoy this. This is fun to me. This is my hobby, to try to figure out the best draft strategies, to try to figure out the best teams to bring forth. Another thing we're going to actually be doing some weekly fantasy stuff. I'm interested in doing that, creating my own teams and doing fantasy. So just another thing to add on to it, man. But we're going to end this podcast. Again, thanks for everybody who listens to our content. Like and subscribe. Leave your comments on YouTube. We enjoy everything you keep doing for us. Please keep listening. And also, make sure to listen to Vaughn on Trade for Yourself podcast, bringing that knowledge. Man, the market is getting crazy. Look, if you need any help, you need to learn what you need to do to improve your portfolios, anything like that, come listen to this guy. He does his research every day. Trust me, I know. I talk to him every day about stuff. So, like and subscribe on his channel at the Trade for Yourself podcast. Buy his merch. He got fire t-shirts too.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
And to everyone, peace.